Hey there, folks. Chris Riegger here, marketing strategy at Heyo, and it is time to get started. Welcome to today's webinar, the quick way to build a 1,000 person list, even in an industry that doesn't know you yet. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks to everyone who jumped on early. I got to speak with a couple of you already, which I always like to do beforehand. Just to get a feel for, who's on the line, what are you guys hoping to learn? And that was really, really great. I am joined today by my good friend, Ted Prodromou, LinkedIn expert, and I'm excited to have him with me. Let me just take a moment and allow Ted to introduce himself. Ted, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome, Ted. Welcome, man. Thanks so much for putting this together.
Yeah, I'm amazed by the diversity of the people on this call. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got folks from all over the place: Pennsylvania, Dallas, Scottsdale, Minnesota, Oakland. So this is great. Now, Ted, I think everybody on the webinar probably already knows you, but do you want to just take a moment and tell us a little bit more about Ted Prodromou?
Yeah, no, I've been doing online marketing for about almost 15 years now. And the last few years, I've been focused on LinkedIn and Twitter and social media. Kind of migrated from the Google AdWords world. Now I'm doing more LinkedIn since I've written 2 books on it. That's where my focus is. So I help people really learn how to use LinkedIn more effectively. It's just an untapped gold mine. So yeah, it's an awesome opportunity.
I should probably get your help, Ted. Heck, man, LinkedIn is so important.
Well,
it's one of those things where you think you're doing things right, but I'm probably missing a few things.
No, people are looking at your profile whether you know it or not, so you got to make that great first impression. So.
Well said. Well said. Awesome. Well, I'll take a moment, and I'll introduce myself in just a moment. But first, a couple of quick housekeeping items. So today on the webinar, you can communicate with us throughout the webinar by shooting us a comment or a question right in the GoToWebinar control panel. You just use the little questions area. And by the way, folks, if you're not looking at my screen, you're going to miss things. So make sure you're watching my slides, taking a look at my slides right now. So that's where I'm showing you the GoToWebinar questions area. So make sure you pop a note or a question throughout the webinar. No problem. No problem. All right. So in the next 35 minutes, here's what we're going to be focused on. First of all, how to steal your competitor's list in a totally open and honest way. I know this sounds like a cheat. I'm actually going to show you a strategy that you can leverage to actually get traffic that right now is being sent to your competitors and get it coming to your website instead. We'll talk about why no one is opening your emails, and the one button that will double your new email leads. And we'll also make sure we save time for live Q&A. I'm really excited. So we already met Ted. Let me introduce myself as well. So my name is Chris. I run marketing strategy here at Heyo. And Heyo is a great platform for running a social media campaign or contest to get you more email leads and drive engagement on social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and a host of others. We absolutely love small businesses and work primarily with consultants and small and medium businesses. And we've had the chance to be featured in a lot of great places, and we got a few brands here on the page. But more importantly, I should say, now that you know a little bit about Ted and about me, we'd love to learn a little bit about you guys as well. So I'm actually going to flash a poll up on the screen, just asking a simple question. Who are you? We'd love to learn a little bit more about you guys. Are you a startup? And just take a minute, if you don't mind, and answer this poll. Are you a startup? Are you a small or medium-sized business? Are you a large business, or would you consider yourself an agency or consultant working with clients? Take a minute. I'd love to get the voting up over 75%, and then I'll move on. But again, would love to learn a little bit more about you guys. All right, we need a few more of you to vote. We're almost there. We're almost there. All right, cool. Awesome. Let's go ahead and close the poll. And I'm going to go ahead and share these results with everyone on the webinar so that we can all learn a little bit more about each other. So here's who we've got on the call. About 36% of you would consider yourselves a startup. It's awesome. I love entrepreneurs, and I love that we've got a bunch of entrepreneurs on the webinar today. Another 40% of you, that's the biggest group, would consider yourself a small or medium-sized business. You've got 1 to 10 employees already. 4% of you, a large business, more than 10 employees, more than $500,000 a year in revenue, and about 20% of you would consider yourself an agency or basically working with clients, representing clients. So cool. It's interesting. So that's who we've got on the webinar today. Like Ted said already, we've got a really interesting kind of cross-section of folks. All right, so as we get things started, I like to start out with a little bit of a parable. So here is a little parable about systems. And I want to introduce you to two friends of mine named Paul and Jake. Now, Paul and Jake are two really good buddies from college, and they both had the same goal. They wanted to work in banking. I don't know why they wanted to work in banking, but that was the industry they both really loved. I think they thought they could make a lot of money. I don't know. But they both really wanted to work in banking. So let me tell you first about Paul. So Paul, he had the goal, right? That was his goal. And all he did was, he picked a couple of banks that he wanted to work for, and he constantly looked for jobs and shot them resumes online. That's all he did. He didn't really have a plan. He didn't really have a system. He didn't really test and learn. He just had the goal and he held on to it. Now, Jake had the same goal. And you can see from these pictures, Jake looks maybe slightly more studious than Paul, right? So Jake had the same goal. And what he did was he said, all right, I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. So what he did was he put together a little bit of a plan, and he basically built a system around it. So first, he identified who the best, top 10 best banks were that he wanted to work for. Secondly, he put together a little plan of visiting each one and trying to have informal meetings at each one. He also did some research and figured out the bars and restaurants near those banks where the employees like to hang out. And he would literally go and hang out there and introduce himself to people until he found that he was talking to somebody who worked at that bank. So he actually put a system in place where he actually tested and tried different strategies. And so here's the moral of the story, folks. Paul, all he had was a goal that he never really did much about. But what Jake did was he tried things. He had a system. He put a plan in place, and he actually tried different strategies until he figured out what worked. And he ultimately ended up with a great job. He got to work in banking, and candidly, Paul didn't. So hopefully what you learn from this parable is, if you learn anything, is that smart marketers test, right? We try things. If you can simply pick a strategy and try it, you will already be well ahead of just about everybody else around you, because so many people are like Paul. They just have the goal and they never really get anything off the ground. So I would highly, highly recommend putting a system in place, trying something. And so what I'm going to do today is share with you a couple of different strategies that you could leverage and test yourselves. So with that, let's jump right into part one, how to steal your competitor's list. All right, so step one, the goal here is we want to target bloggers who've written about your competitors. Target bloggers who've written about your competitors. There are a number of different tools I use for the job. And again, if you guys make sure you're looking at my screen, I've got a bunch of tools on display right here. These are 6 of the tools I use to figure out, first of all, who is sending traffic to my competitors. Who is sending traffic to my competitors? And I'm going to pick one of these. I'm actually going to show you how it works. Connie says, Jake's system is what I teach job seekers as well. Love that, Connie. I love that. All right, cool. So first of all, I'm going to pull up one of these tools called Similar Web. Now, Alexa, Similar Web, you'll notice I've got LinkedIn Pulse on here. There are lots of tools you can leverage to get information about your competitors. So here is Similar Web. Hopefully you guys can all see this okay. And I'm going to pretend that I am in the CRM business. I have a little product that does customer relationship management. So I am going to try to find out about one of my competitors. It's called Batchbook. Batchbook is a small business CRM tool. So you'll notice here's batchbook.com. And if I just pop that address into Similar Web, I get some info about Batchbook's website. Now I can scroll down. I can see a few snapshots. I can see their traffic. Okay, all looks very good. But if I scroll down far enough, you'll notice I see traffic sources. About 1/3 of their traffic comes from referrals. These are other websites that are sending them traffic. And the goal with this system, the goal with this strategy, is to take some of this traffic that is coming to them from other websites and get it diverted to my website. So I'm going to scroll down, and you'll notice that under referrals, I've got their top referring sites, Mad Office, themotherhood.com, the Drifting Desk. So these are blogs that have written about Batchbook and are sending them leads. So let's pretend that I want to target the motherhood. Like this, first of all, this is how you find out, by the way. There are lots of tools out there like Similar Web that will help you figure out how your competitors are getting traffic. So first of all, tell me in the GoToWebinar questions, is this kind of revolutionary? Is this new information for you? If you're with me and you're following me, say yes. Jan says sweet. Paul says yes. Eric says yes. Okay, awesome. So yeah, so this is how you find out how your competitors are getting, or where your competitors are getting their traffic from. Okay, so that is step one on this strategy. Okay, step two is you need to get their email. You need to get their email. So let's actually grab, I think this is themotherhood.com. So let's see if that'll pop out, will work. Beautiful. Let's go to themotherhood.com. It looks like it's, okay, Moms Mean Business. All right, it's a website, it's a blog, right? And they're sending traffic to Batchbook, who, again, in this scenario, we're pretending is my competitor, right? So this is a nice looking website. Okay, great. So the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to get an email address because I want to contact the people at the Motherhood. There are a few different ways I can do this. First of all, I could simply send them a tweet, right? And I recommend, I do this all the time. I actually just got some press about a week or two ago by simply tweeting at some online journalists in this exact same way. You pick a very simple one-liner that says something like, let's pretend we're tweeting to Melissa Thompson. At Mel Thompson 88, have idea to run by you. What's the best email to send screenshot to? Or you might say, Melissa, have an idea for you. What's the best way to connect? And often they'll come back to you and say, send me a direct message, or they'll say, or here's my email address. Sometimes they'll just hand you their email address on Twitter. It's a very effective way of actually getting an email address. So that's one thing to try. The other thing you can do is simply go looking for it on their website. You're probably going to find a website contact form. So let's actually go to the Motherhood. Let's see what we got. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. I've got services, network, clients, about us, and the blog. If I go to about us, well, there you go. Contact. Let me click contact. Okay, not only do I have a form, I actually have an email address, contact@themotherhood.com. I also have an address and a phone number. It's amazing what you can find online, isn't it, folks? It's pretty amazing. So boom. I mean, this is pretty much everything I need, right? So now this is the website that is sending my competitor traffic, and I have their contact information. If I'm not able to get it that way, there are a couple of other tricks you can try to find that contact information. One is simply going to things like their website terms of service or their end user licensing agreement. There are lots of places on their website you actually might be able to find an email address. And then here's one of my favorite little tricks. If you go to mailtester.com, it's a little free tool. You can pop in an email address and it will tell you if that email address is good or not. So you can basically guess the right email address. So if you want to reach Jeff Bezos at Amazon and you popped in jeff@amazon.com, you'd see that is probably his email address. So that's a very, very neat trick. So let me take a moment and ping Ted and ask him for his thoughts on this. So Ted, let me ask you this: have you ever gone looking for someone's email address online this way?
No, this is awesome. This saves me a lot of time. I've done it the long way.
You've done it the long shortcut. So define the long way. What's like trying to get them in person, or like how would you find an email address right now if you needed to find one?
Oh, I use LinkedIn a lot. I actually look at their profiles,
of course.
And a lot of them will tell you right there, but it's a lot of digging. This is a little faster.
LinkedIn can be quick if it's on their profile, and I've done that trick as well. I've sent them a connect request on LinkedIn. But yeah, these are some quick ways to get to an email address, especially in this situation. We know we're trying to reach themotherhood.com, but we're not entirely sure who we're contacting yet, right? So like finding multiple lines of communication like this is super helpful. Okay,
I love
cool.
the way you just on Twitter just ask them for their email.
Let me tell you, it works. That works probably for me 50% of the time. If I just tweet, if they're on Twitter and they're reasonably active on Twitter, and I just send them a quick tweet, I'll get a response and I'll probably get their email address. I just did it, like I said, a week or two ago. So that works really, really well. All right, so let's keep going. So again, this is as a last resort. You just use mailtester.com and you can guess, folks. Okay, cool. So now here are some of the tools I use for the job. And again, I am recording this webinar today, so don't stress about writing all these tools down. Don't worry, I'm going to send you out the recording. but Mail Tester, Sidekick, LinkedIn, as Ted mentioned. So there are lots of great tools here that you can use. Okay, cool. Step 3. Now we're going to pitch them. So folks, here's the path we're on, right? We know who's sending traffic to our competitor. We now have identified the website and we have contact information for that website. Now we want them sending traffic to us instead of them. And one of the best ways to do that is just with some simple written content. So now let's assume we've got their email address and I want to send themotherhood.com a message. Here's how I do it. Use a very short, crisp subject line. Some subject lines I've used that work are simply an idea or just idea. If you got their email address from a tweet, say, hey, following up from Twitter. Keep it really crisp. The point of the subject line is just to get them to open the email. More on that later. Email should be fairly to the point. Hey, Melissa, I saw this article, drop in a link, and saw it did super well. Do you think your audience would also like an article about the blank, fill in the blank, top 10 best performing social campaigns of 2015, about the 5 tricks for building out your LinkedIn profile? If you're Connie, do you think your audience would like an article about, the top 5 hiring firms in bioscience? I know I'm getting that horribly wrong, Connie, but because I really know nothing about bioscience, but you get the idea, right? Send them a crisp email, and just basically pitch them. Hey, what do you think of an article about this topic? When they write back, you then want to ask them, hey, do you want me to take a stab at writing an article for you? And I'll tell you what, folks, often if you even have like a paragraph, like a summary, or even the entire article written out, you could even just send them the article straight away. Hey, here's a draft of the article. I just put the finishing touches on it. I'd love your feedback. I'd love it if you wanted to publish this. Link them to the article on Dropbox or on Google Drive. It is incredibly simple. Okay, so let's quickly recap that strategy, right? Number 1, figure out who's sending traffic to your competitors. Number 2, go out and find their contact information. You really need an email address. Number 3, pitch them, right? Send them a note. Ask, possibly reference some of the content they've already published and pitch them on them publishing an article by you instead. All of a sudden now you're inserting yourself into that flow so that their website visitors are reading your content instead of your competitors. That is the goal of this strategy. Okay. Very, very cool. Now, time for section number 2. Why no one is opening your emails. Now, look, hopefully all of you have amazing open rates. In fact, I tell you what, why don't you let Ted and me know, in the GoToWebinar questions, what's like an average open rate for you for one of your emails? Tell us in the GoToWebinar questions. What's like an average open rate for you? Okay, Jan says like just over a 30% open rate. Jan, that's really good. Okay, Heman says 0%. Okay, I'm very sorry to hear that. That is a very low open rate. Robert says 20%. That's pretty typical, I think, a 20% open rate. Robert, that's not bad. Okay, I'm seeing 20, 28, 30, 25. Jack says 25%. Gene says 27%. Okay, cool. So kind of everyone's in that range of, let's say, 20 to 30% open rate. Robert says it's 20%. It stinks. Robert, I know how you feel. And that is the whole reason I wanted to share this section with you guys. So here's the thing. As great as your open rate is on email, it always has room to improve, right? A 20% open rate is not bad in this day and age, but that still means 80% of your audience is not opening your emails. 80% not opening your emails. So that is a big deal. So why is no one opening your emails? Well, I'm going to lay out for you here a strategy of how you can construct an email in a way that I believe, and I have found personally, will get a higher open rate. Okay, and it is called the knock-knock method. Okay, this is called the knock-knock method. So first of all, I'm going to ask Ted to help me out again. I'm going to put him on the spot and see if he can help me out. So Ted, have you ever told a knock-knock joke before?
Oh, of course.
Okay, right. So like I have 2 kids, young kids, and they're still like young enough that they love corny knock-knock jokes. So I'm gonna actually tell you a knock-knock joke I heard from them, and it's super corny, but just bear with me, okay?
Okay.
All right. So okay, Ted, knock knock.
Who's there?
Little old lady.
Little old lady who?
Oh, Ted, I didn't know you could yodel. That was amazing. All right. Okay. I know that was super goofy, guys, but I had to demonstrate the knock knock. So that was a knock knock joke, right? Thank you, Ted. That was awesome.
Okay.
So here's how does a knock knock joke relate to writing a good email? Let's talk about that. Okay. Step one, we're gonna sort of deconstruct or decompose the knock knock joke, and we're gonna relate it to each part of your email. So when I said knock knock to Ted, that is your subject line. The whole purpose of me saying knock knock is to get Ted to say who's there. The whole purpose of your subject line is to get them to open the email. And it is probably one of the biggest mistakes we make with a subject line is that we like overstuff the subject line with information. Okay. If it's an email about a meeting tomorrow at 2:00, we send the email and we say 2 p.m. meeting tomorrow about special engagement coming up with the vice president, or whatever. It becomes really long and over informative. You want to get them to open the email. Okay. They already know too much. Send them the email with a subject line that says something like meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow, or even better, 2 p.m. tomorrow, tomorrow's meeting, something very crisp. Because you want them to think, oh, what about tomorrow's meeting? And then they click and they open it, right? Make sure that the subject line is very, very focused on getting them to open the email. Okay, the next step, when Ted said who's there, right, that's them opening. That's what you want to happen. So we hope that step 2 occurs. Step 3, I said little old lady. Now, that is the copy in your email. Once they've opened the email, they're going to read what your email says. And the whole goal of the copy of your email is to get them to take some kind of action, right? So, for instance, you might want them to click a button. You might want them to click reply and reply to that email. You might want them to download an attachment, whatever the call to action is. Usually it's probably clicking a button or a link in the email to go to your website, right? Whatever the call to action is, you want to make sure the copy is totally focused. The copy of the email, the body of the email is totally focused on getting them to take that action. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it extremely clear. Okay, if they say little old lady who, that's like them clicking, right? So again, subject line, whole goal is to get them to open the email. Copy in the email, whole goal is to get them to click or take that action. When Ted said little old lady who, it's a really goofy joke, but it was fun. Then that's like someone actually then reading your content and deciding they're interested and they want to click, and that's what you want to happen. And then of course, the ultimate goal is to get them to your landing page, your sales page, your opt-in page, your website, whatever, to get to the ultimate destination online. And that's the goal, is we're trying to drive traffic there. Remember, if you're fake or boring, they won't click. Okay, so if it's a boring email, that's a problem. But if you're fake, if you're not authentic, you guys know your audience better than I do, right? They're all unique. Each of you has a different and unique audience. But the more authentic you are to that audience, the better. You want to provoke curiosity, you want to create urgency if you can, and you want to be authentic. You want to be authentic. Okay, so let me pause here again, and I'm actually going to see if I can get Connie back on to say hello. Okay, now let's see. We've got multiple Connies on. There she is. Let me see if I can say unmute Connie to say hello. Hey, Connie, are you there? Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay,
still here.
Awesome. So, Connie, what do you think of this email strategy of using this knock-knock method?
I have overstuffed my subject line far too often.
Yeah, we all have.
I'm trying to get it down to, I've been doing a search and my latest subject line is, hi, so-and-so, is this in your wheelhouse?
Got it. Okay. Not bad, maybe a little long, but we're all guilty of that from time to time. Okay, but it sounds like this is helpful to you. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. You ready for the next strategy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Thanks. I'm going to put you back on mute, Connie, and we're going to roll forward. So, strategy 3, pushing one button to double your email leads. All right, there is a button you can push. Being a little bit cryptic, but I promise all will be revealed. There is a button you can push to double the number of email leads that come in. And we're going to talk about this because it's critically important, especially today in 2016. So everybody watch my screen. I'm going to show you a few things. Okay, and please take a moment. If you're multitasking, listening to the sound of my lovely voice, he said ironically, then close out of your email, stop multitasking, and look at my screen because you're not going to want to miss this. Okay, so take a look. I'm just going to scroll through a few campaign examples. This is the one-man photo contest. This is the one-man photo contest on mobile. Here are the results. These are actually specifically the tweets that the one-man photo contest drove. Okay, here is Amy's giveaway contest for Mixed Bag Designs. Here's her giveaway contest on mobile. And then here were the results. Had 1,800 impressions, captured almost 600 emails. A 30% conversion rate. It's an extremely healthy conversion rate. There's Amy herself. Here is the Wawa Hut, King Tut's Wawa Hut. I know it's a really funny name. King Tut's Wawa Hut. Here's their sweepstakes to win tickets to see Biffy Clyro. That's Biffy Clyro. No idea what kind of band they are, but that's neither here nor there. Here's the King Tut's Wawa Hut campaign on mobile. And then here are the results. Almost a 58% conversion rate, 4,640 impressions, over 2,600 new email leads. I would love that many new email leads. Okay, so what do you think this button that you can push to double the number of new email leads, based on everything you just saw, these campaign examples I just shared, tell me in the GoToWebinar questions, what do you think it does? What do you think that button does? Tell me in the GoToWebinar questions. Any guesses? Okay, that is correct. That is correct. It is all about making your content, your campaigns 100% mobile friendly. And here is why. Here are some specific stats to help you understand why. Over 50%, in fact, the latest number is 52% of all Facebook users are only using Facebook from their mobile phones. There are 1.6 billion Facebook users on mobile. There are 400 million Instagram users on Instagram, which is essentially an entirely mobile platform. An entirely mobile platform. And the average amount of time spent per day in the US on Facebook is 40 minutes per day, which is a lot of time. So you basically have these people going to these social media platforms from their mobile phones a lot. And that is incredibly important. So, there you go. Let me ask Ted real quick one more question. I keep putting Ted on the spot. He's a great sport. But Ted, now I have the LinkedIn mobile app, and I use the LinkedIn mobile app from my phone. I would say quite a bit, a fair amount. Do you have any sense of how big mobile is on LinkedIn or for LinkedIn right now?
Last year in 2015, it was over 60% of LinkedIn users are mobile.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess I'm not surprised, right? We officially, folks, last year, according to just broad research here in the US, last year we crossed the line as a country where now more than half of all internet traffic comes from phones. So we are now officially spending more time online from our phones than we are from our computers. And I guess, Ted, all this data, right, I've got on the slide and the quote you just gave us about LinkedIn, the users being 60% mobile, I mean, that's just proof to that point, right?
I saw something that 65% of Google searches last year were from mobile devices.
There you go. Amazing. So not surprising at all, folks, but two ways you can look at this. One is by simply making your campaign mobile, you can double the amount of new email leads that you get. Secondly, if your campaign is not mobile responsive, you are literally going to lose out on probably more than half of your potential new leads. I ran a piece of research last year here at Heyo where we're a social campaign and contest platform, and we surveyed our customers' campaigns. We took a look at the data and aggregated it, and basically on average, and this is very much in line with these other numbers you're hearing, on average 60% of the new leads of the entrants that our customers are getting from their Heyo campaigns are coming from mobile phones. So if we weren't 100% mobile friendly and mobile responsive, then our customers would lose out. We'll only get 40% of their possible leads. So here's a question, folks. We're at a decision point. And I hope you're learning a lot here. Would you like me to show you how you can do this? How you can click this one button to take a campaign and make it completely mobile? This is what we do here at Heyo. I would be glad to just take probably 4 or 5 minutes. I can do it pretty fast and kind of show you how to do this. Show you how to create a campaign and make it mobile. And so just say yes in the GoToWebinar questions if you'd like me to do that. And if not, just say skip or no, because I don't want to waste your time and we can always move on and keep going. Okay, let's see. Connie says yes. Heman says yes, or sure. He says sure. Eric says yes. Jan says yes. Smiley face. Robert, let's rock. Yes, yes, yes. Hosan says absolutely. Okay. Okay, good. Let's do it. So first, let me pull up the appropriate page. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go, folks. I am going to move fairly quickly, and so again, I'm recording this webinar. If you miss a little click or something that I do, don't stress too much. I mostly just want to show you guys how easy it is to pull this off. So first of all, I would love to use one of your actual campaigns if possible. One of your actual businesses if possible. So tell me in the GoToWebinar questions what your website URL is. Tell me in the GoToWebinar questions what your website URL is. This will be interesting. I would really like to do this. So I just would rather demo if I can with a with an actual business who's on the webinar. So take a moment, let me know in the GoToWebinar questions your website URL. I'm just taking a look. We got a bunch of really good ones. I'm just taking a quick moment to look. Keep them coming though, folks, if you haven't already. All right, cool. So let's, where'd my list go? There we go.
There's some pretty amazing websites.
There are.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Thanks, Ben, for jumping in. This is the part where I'm like quickly trying to review and grab one. Man, this is very neat. Wellness Academy, Elite Brand Optimization. This is really neat. Okay, guys, so here's what I think we're going to do. Come on. Come on, Internet. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to grab Tyson's Wellness Academy website, and we're gonna use that. So Tyson, I hope that's okay. We're gonna use your business to kind of show off how to pull this off. But basically, it looks like so Tyson runs a business, the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy, combines ancient wisdom with modern science. So we're gonna use this as an example for the campaign. So, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to create, I'm going to click Create a Campaign. Okay, everybody watch my screen. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to try to get this done within the next 5 minutes tops. Okay, so we're going to call this Spring Giveaway. Save and continue. All right, cool. And there are a lot of different things I can do here, but specifically I want to run a social contest. Now, the sort of bread and butter social contest that you can run is a sweepstakes, or sometimes called a giveaway. So that's what we're going to do. It's incredibly simple. Consumers get it. It's just you simply offering up an incentive or a prize if they opt in with their email address. That's all it is. It's very simple. And again, people really understand it. Okay, cool. So here's what we do. So here I am in the Heyo campaign builder. If I mouse over the sort of campaign canvas here, you'll notice that these little widgets highlight, and I can, over here on the right-hand side, I can make my edits. So first, I want to get Tyson's logo in there. So I'm going to click the logo, go to his website, right click, copy image address, and I'm just going to paste it in there. Okay, boom. A little hard to see because of the color, but you guys get the idea. In fact, that's okay, because here's what I can do. I'm going to go here to options at the top right, background options, and let's just give this maybe just a little bit of texture or color. It's like, maybe we'll do something like kind of different here. Okay, boom, there we go. Healing Arts Academy. All right, cool. So we've got Tyson's logo in there. That was very simple. All right, so now the next thing is we've got this countdown clock. And on the countdown clock, I can set any amount of time I want for this campaign. I recommend for a giveaway, folks, if you're doing this, just running it for 7 to 10 days. So it's set for 10 days. We're just going to leave it at 10 days. Okay, so click Save Changes. Okay, the next thing up is to set up the entry form. So let me know, folks, what email marketing platform, in the GoToWebinar questions, let me know, what email marketing platform do you use today? Do you use MailChimp? Do you use Infusionsoft, Ontraport, Constant Contact, GetResponse? Let me know in the GoToWebinar questions who you use, which in and of itself will be really interesting. Okay, we got a bunch of folks here, Ted. Let's see. GetResponse, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, another GetResponse, Aweber, Constant Contact. Okay, several Awebers, MailChimp. Okay, cool. So pretty much everyone you've mentioned, guys, just about, we already integrate with. In fact, we just rolled out GetResponse last week, which is really exciting. So boom, here they are, right? So what you can do is click here, sync to your email marketing platform. If they're not on this list yet, no worries, because we're adding them all the time. You just click downloadable CSV file, and we'll just store those leads for you. Now I can actually construct the form however I want. I can add fields. Let's say I want to include first name. Okay, cool. And let's say I want to move this up because I want first name to be above email address. And I click Save Changes, and boom, here's my entry form. Okay. Next, I have these share options. Now, these are really, really important because the more we want to make it really easy for folks to enter this contest and then share it with their friends. So what I can do is, first of all, put my Facebook page in there. Let's see if Tyson has a Facebook page. I don't see a link offhand on his website, so let's just ignore that for now. But I can put my Facebook page link in there to allow people to like my Facebook page. And also, I want to leave this field right here, URL to share. I'm going to leave blank because then Heyo will default it to this campaign landing page. So we want to just leave that blank. And then I want to customize this share text. So I want to say something like, I just entered to win a free wellness package, let's say. Okay, great. And I will click Save Changes. Boom. And then this last thing, this big hero image right here at the top right, this is where I can communicate what my prize is. So I'm literally just going to go to the website here, Tyson's website here, and I'm going to pick, he sells a boot camp, some really cool, interesting stuff. Let's click on this boot camp here. All right, cool. I am literally just going to use my good friend Skitch to grab a quick screenshot. We'll just do I'll grab both of these just to kind of illustrate folks how this works. I'll capture that. Drop it on my website. Let's go back to our giveaway. I'm going to click the image. This time I've got the image I want right on my desktop. So I'm going to click Upload. There it is. Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. I'll go ahead and upload that. All right, so Ted, how am I doing on time? Am I kind of within 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool. And then finally, folks, you've got this text area right below the image where you can communicate some marketing copy or some rules or whatever you want. And I can change the font style. I've got some nice modern options here. I can change the sizing. I can do all kinds of stuff just to get this customized and looking exactly how I want it. Maybe I want to make that like a little bit brighter. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and click Save Changes and now save and preview. Okay, everybody take a look at my screen. I did that pretty darn fast. Now, if you were to take your time and do this yourselves, Tyson, for instance, if you put this campaign together for yourself, I'm sure you'd pick a much better image. You do whatever you wanted to get it customized and tweaked just so it's just right, just perfect. But this isn't bad, right, for a quick demo. And take a look at it. It looks really nice. It's very clean. Now, here's that magic button, Ted, and this is what's so important, right? I can publish this campaign to a few different places, but here's really kind of the crucial one. Boom. Just click that one button. Now I'm publishing this to mobile. Totally mobile responsive. This is what's so critical, folks. You want this campaign to look great, be really easy to enter right from my phone, and be ready to go. All right, not bad. And here's what's even better, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's just click publish on this. And don't worry, Tyson, I'm just going to kind of publish this to a little test page. No one has to see it. So Tyson's like, probably, wait a minute. So as soon as you publish, Heyo gives you this, it's called a smart URL. And it's a fully functional URL with a brain. And this URL knows anybody who clicks on it, what device, it knows what device they're on, and it will make sure it shares with them the appropriate version of the campaign based on their device. So you'll notice that I'm sitting here on my computer. I'm going to go to that URL, and it's going to take me straight to the web version of the campaign. If I were to click on it from a phone, it would take me straight to the appropriate mobile responsive version of the campaign. So it looks great on any device. Okay, folks, boom. That was reasonably quick, I hope. So that is how you put together a campaign in 5 minutes or less that will, and how you can leverage mobile to make sure that you double the number of new email leads that you get. All right, so let's quickly recap, Ted, what we've covered so far. So far, guys, you've learned how to steal your competitor's list in a totally open and honest way, why no one is opening your emails, how pushing this one button will double your email leads. And of course, that one button is all about making sure your campaign is fully mobile ready. And of course, stay tuned because we've got live Q&A coming up. All right, so let me give you guys a moment. I would love to know yes or no in the GoToWebinar questions. Have you learned at least 2 new things? So please take a moment and let me know either yes or no in the GoToWebinar questions if you've learned at least 2 new things from this webinar. So Ted, we've got a great question from Jan. Jan says, and so do you promote the smart URL for your campaign? Jan, that's exactly right. While I give everyone a second to answer, I'll tell you, you promote that URL, and there are lots of ways you can do that. And I'd be glad to kind of cover some of those in Q&A, some best practices. But basically, you can promote that URL is fully compatible with every social platform. If you paste that into a LinkedIn comment or a Facebook status update or a tweet, it's going to populate and look great. It's going to pull in the campaign image. It's going to look really good. So we've made sure of that. All right, I'm seeing a lot of yeses, which I really like, Ted, because that means that maybe I've said something worthwhile today, which would be
That's awesome.
So lots of yeses. Heman says yes, more than 2. Matthew says, great information. Missed a few things. Looking forward to the replay. Yeah, no problem, Matthew. I am recording this, as I said. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys have learned a lot. So, Ted, with your permission, I would love to know if, ask everybody if they'd be interested in just learning a little bit more about Heyo pricing. And if they are, if they would just type bonus in the GoToWebinar questions. Would that be okay, Ted?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So if you guys want, so there are lots of ways you can create a campaign just like the one that I showed you, right? But this is exactly what Heyo does. And we do this for lots of different types of businesses. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Heyo pricing, just comment bonus in the GoToWebinar questions. And if you're not, just comment skip. Because again, this webinar is for you guys. I want to make sure that we're covering exactly what you want to learn. Okay, Kim says bonus, Tyson bonus, Connie bonus, Robert Heeman D. Jan says double bonus. Okay, Jan, I can't promise you double bonuses, but maybe. So no problem. All right, so let's talk about that real quick. I'll try and be quick here, Ted, so we can get right to Q&A. But here's what's included in every HEYO package. So all of our customers get this. They can launch up to 3 campaigns at a time, access to photo and video contest templates. So if you remember that one-man photo contest, that is a pre-built, really well-designed photo contest application that you can just access through HEYO and run for your own business. You've got access to giveaway and sweepstakes templates and lead generation templates. So if you're giving away a free download or piece of content, you can leverage HEYO to do that as well. It doesn't always have to be a contest with a countdown clock. We've got direct email marketing integrations with tools like MailChimp and Aweber and GetResponse. You saw the list. I think we've got really good coverage already, and we're adding more all the time. Most importantly, right, you can create mobile versions of your campaign so you can capture mobile leads. That today in 2016 is where the majority of new leads you're going to get is coming from, and that's super, super important. HEYO is designed for beginners, so it's super easy to use. It's a simple user interface. You don't need to know how to code, and it's a very visual designer, so I really like it. I mean, you guys just saw me use it. It's also an improved application. If you want to integrate directly with Facebook and publish to a Facebook app, you can do that with HEYO. It's very simple to do. And finally, we have super responsive customer support. It's a great team, and they do a great job, not just of providing technical support, but strategic advice, which I really, again, these guys know how to run a successful contest. The team is great. These guys and gals, I should say, they are great, and you guys can use them if you're a HEYO customer. So that's what every customer gets. Now, Ted is a good friend. I really like the guy. So what I said to him earlier is I said, hey, I put something together that's special for your audience. And he said, okay, yeah, great. Go ahead and share it. So here's what I've got for you guys. If you wanted to buy this special offer today, okay, so if you buy right now, we're going to throw in a few things. We will feature your business in a blog post. So the HEYO blog is a very well-trafficked blog targeting small businesses, and it gets over 50,000 unique readers a month. And we're extremely proud of it. It's got great content on it, and we are absolutely excited about, Ted has an amazing audience, and we're really excited to maybe feature some of you guys specifically on our blog. So first of all, we'll feature your business in a blog post. Second of all, you've got access to a special live training that I'm running next week called How to Run a Successful Contest to help ensure your success. That is really important, right? We want to make sure that you guys don't just sign up and never use HEYO. We want to make sure that if you do decide to sign up, that you do it, and because you're going to use it and get a lot out of it. And so we want to help you to do that. I've got a PDF guide for you. Ted, one of the biggest questions we get is, well, what do I give away, right? If I'm going to run one of these little, contests, one of these campaigns, how do I pick the right prize? And so I put together a little white paper that's explains exactly how to pick the right prize and gives 11 high converting prize ideas that you can copy. Because again, I think it's easier to just grab a best practice sometimes. We've also got a great mastermind group on Facebook, and you've got access to that. It's invite only. And this is really the only way that you can get access. I've got a downloadable PDF of this information-packed slide deck. It's a self-serving comment. I'd like to think it's information-packed, but you can get the full slide deck. And a great ebook, The Secret to Stunning Visual Content. It's interesting. It doesn't matter what platform you're on, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, obviously Instagram's completely images and video, right? But every social platform out there is getting more visual. It's all about images and video. It's becoming more and more about that. So we put together a great ebook that explains exactly how to structure your visual content to make sure that it is as appealing as possible to the human mind. And we're really proud of this. It's a great piece, and we'll give you guys that as well. And then finally, we've got a free 30-minute video course called How to Discover Content the Newsfeed Loves. The social feed often is curated, and so it's important to know how you can put together content that the newsfeed is going to love. All right, so that's everything. Everything on the left side of this page is what you get with HEYO anytime. Everything on the right side is what you get if you sign up today. and it is only $300 for a full year. All you've got to do is go to heyo.com/TED to grab those bonuses. And I actually think, Ted, you wanted to jump in here as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I want to share a bonus too for everybody that does take advantage of this. Can I share an embarrassing moment first?
I love embarrassing moments, Ted.
Last year, when my Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business second edition came out, I ran a Heyo contest. And I totally forgot about it because I was traveling a lot. I just looked up how many leads I got from the 1 week contest. 728 leads.
Really?
Totally.
Well, first of all, that's amazing. And just so everybody knows, this is totally unplanned. I didn't even know about that contest. But first of all, that's amazing that you got over 700 new email leads. I'm just sorry that you forgot about it.
I just didn't run any more contests. I was so busy. I was like, oops.
But there you go. There you go. So you ran that, was it a giveaway, I'm assuming, for 1 week?
Yeah, I was giving away copies of my book.
Okay. So not an expensive prize, a valuable prize, right? I'd like to think it's a good book, but not expensive, right? To give away a copy of your book and over 700 new email leads. Amazing. That's awesome. Well, now you got to go do something with those, Ted.
Exactly.
Awesome. So you wanted to add a bonus, right, Ted?
Yeah. I was going to offer, I do a LinkedIn profile review for my clients, and we do a video review and just give a first take impression of it. It's like a 5 to 10 minute review. And then we add suggestions on how to improve your LinkedIn profile. So it's it's not a complete makeover. It's just a review of it and with some little tips on how you can improve it. That's awesome. A $300 value. And I'll throw in one of those for everybody that does that today.
That is really awesome. Thank you so much, Ted. That's very generous. I really appreciate that. And guys, that's a pretty cool bonus. As I said earlier, I think I could use that myself. So basically, yeah, I guess if you take advantage of this bonus offer today, you get all these great bonuses plus free LinkedIn profile review from Ted. So that is very cool. We'll let you guys think about that. Again, it's $300 for a full year at heyo.com/TED/TED. I guess one last thing I will say about that is that we at Heyo offer a 100% 30-day risk-free guarantee. We really want to make sure you guys are totally happy with your decision to join the Heyo family. If for any reason you just decide, you know what, this isn't working out for me, I'm not sure I'm going to use it, I'm not sure I'm going to get the most out of it, just let me know and let us know, and you send us an email to support@heyo.com, and we'll be glad to cancel and give you a full refund. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, Chris is crazy because I could just buy this for $300 right now, get all the great bonuses, and then cancel in a week, and he'd be stuck, right? Because a lot of these are PDF guides that you're going to get and be able to keep. But you know what? I don't mind. If I believe people are inherently good, and you guys will do the right thing and make good decisions. And if you don't, so be it. I would just rather make it really comfortable for you guys to jump on board and try this out. Remember, we talked about the importance of having a strategy and trying something right at the beginning. And I want to make it really easy for you guys to try something today. So awesome. So there's some great bonuses. I don't think we can do any better than that. So there you go. So, okay, we'll just leave that up. And Ted, let's go ahead and dive into some Q&A. And again, if you guys have questions about anything at all, whether it's the content today, whether it's promoting on social media or LinkedIn or other platforms, or whether it's about this offer, whatever it is, we'd be glad to field your questions now. So feel free to, if you've already asked a question earlier in the webinar, we may have missed it. So make sure you put it in again to the GoToWebinar questions, and that is how you ask questions today. So some good questions. Let me just take a look here and review a couple. Okay, so Kim asks, is this like Power Editor, which I am just learning to do? So Power Editor, Kim, is a tool on the Facebook ads for creating Facebook ads. And this is actually complementary to Power Editor. So you'd use Heyo to create a contest or campaign, just like you saw me do a few minutes ago. And then you can use Facebook ads, or you could use Power Editor to then promote that smart URL to your HEYO campaign. So, think of HEYO as how you create the campaign, and then Power Editor or other channels you may have is how you promote the campaign. All right, cool. So some other questions. So Connie asks the question, can this be used on LinkedIn? Shocking that I would get a question like that, Ted. I'm just so surprised. No, that's of course, Connie, it's a great question. Of course it can be used on LinkedIn. So how that would work is you create your HEYO campaign, publish it wherever you want to through HEYO. You saw on that last step when I built that little campaign for Tyson's business, I went ahead and I could publish it to a few different places. Once it's published, I simply take that smart URL and I can promote it organically to my LinkedIn connections. I'll tell you a little thing, Connie, a little secret that I love, and especially in B2B and services businesses, LinkedIn groups are a great place to promote. Now, it's really important, I think, to sort of find and be part of the right LinkedIn groups for you and your industry to begin with. And so this promoting in those groups will be more impactful if you already if you're engaged there and you already have a presence there. But regardless, those are a great way a great place on LinkedIn to promote these as well. Do you, Ted, do you use, or do you recommend that people go and participate in LinkedIn groups as well?
Yeah, they're not as good as they used to be, but there are some good groups that have good conversations.
Right. And when you say not as good as they used to be, is that just because they can, I don't know, they're a little less activity, or like what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there?
They became spam areas. People were just blasting content and not actually going in and interacting with people.
Got it.
LinkedIn made some changes last year, so they're trying to make them more interactive again.
Good. I love that. So yeah, for sure. You want to find the right group. I like this when it's very targeted. I remember I once talked to a client of ours that was in like waste management, and she was like, how do I promote this campaign? I said, well, let's look on LinkedIn. And heck, we found a couple of really good LinkedIn groups for the waste management industry, and she was thrilled. And that became a place where she was really able to promote and actually pick up a few leads, which is great. So Kim asked the question, we create the campaigns ourselves, but get support when needed, right? Kim, that is correct. So HEYO is a do-it-yourself platform. It's very easy to use, but we have great support if you ever need help. And so that is kind of how we operate. Dee asks a great question, Ted. How do you calculate return on time invested towards specific campaigns? So Dee, if there's a specific type of campaign you're asking about, let me know. But I'm going to assume you're asking about running the kind of campaign you can with HEYO, and how you calculate return on investment for your time. So I guess there are a couple things that I would say, but first of all, the primary business value that you're going to get from running this type of campaign is new email leads. So they're especially valuable for you if email marketing and having a good, strong email list is important to you and your business. So that's the first thing I'll say. And so then really what it comes down to is if you can pick up 100 new, or like Ted, right, picked up over 700 new email leads. If you can pick up 700 new email leads, what's your return on investment when you send an email, right? So right away, the business value is very clear, right? I'm getting new email leads, and if I can, drop them into my list and get them on the regular, maybe you send some value-added content out, maybe you do some things to nurture your email leads, and eventually you seek to convert them into paying customers. If 1 out of every 100 people on your email list generally converts into a paying customer, well, Ted just got himself 7 new paying customers, right? If you're following my logic there. So that's one way to just kind of assess return on investment for these campaigns is to, on the revenue side, kind of size it that way. And in terms of like the cost of your time, I guess it just depends on how you value your time. If you charge, as for your business, if you charge by the hour for your time, that's kind of easy to do. Otherwise, you might need to find another way to just value your time, but that's pretty simple to do. Any thoughts from you on that, Ted, on that question about how you calculate return on time invested towards specific campaigns?
Yeah, with mine, I gave away 5 books. So I just randomly picked 5 people. And it cost me about $10 per book from my publisher. And I think I spent $100 on ads, on Facebook ads.
Got it. Got
So
it. Okay.
pretty easy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm assuming the campaign didn't take you very long to set up, right? It was probably pretty simple.
Just like you set it up, it was like drag and drop. I put an image of my book cover on there and wrote a little,
Nice.
stole some content from the book.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome. So yeah, so there you go, Dee. Hopefully that's helpful. All right. So what other questions do you guys have? Any questions at all about promotion? So let me ask you the question. You just mentioned Facebook ads, Ted. Do you remember this campaign you ran last year, this giveaway contest? Do you remember how you promoted it? Did you promote it to your own audience and list? It sounds like you might have run Facebook ads. Like, how did you promote that contest?
Yeah, the only ads I ran were some Facebook ads because I was doing a LinkedIn or a Facebook ad class at the time, so I played around with that.
Great.
And I did some social media posts and then emailed my list, basically.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's really smart to do, actually, because, again, we see these campaigns being a great way of stimulating sharing. And like you saw for that one-man contest, all the tweets that it got, if you've already got the email address for everyone on your email list, but if you can send them an email about the contest and get them to enter, then they're going to share with their friends. You're going to pick up some new leads that way as well. So that's a really smart thing to do. Mm-hmm. Cool. And I always tell people, leverage all of your free organic channels first. Promote on social media. Promote to your email list. If you run a bricks and mortar business, promote it in store. Right? Like literally promote it everywhere every channel you have available to you as a starting point, and then explore things like you said, Ted. Explore things like smart, well-targeted Facebook ads or other paid options if you want to. But it's always great to be able to just, run one of these with just a minimal amount of time invested, promote it, essentially for free. Again, just the cost of you, expending a little bit of time and effort, and then to get some new email leads. That's a great way to do it. So Hosan, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Hosan, says, can I use this to help out a financial consulting firm? I'm trying to think of giveaway items. This is my favorite question, Hosan. So here's what I would tell you. So when you're a services business like the financial consulting firm, you can absolutely run a giveaway quite successfully, right? Absolutely. The trick is finding the right incentive or prize. And what I would recommend is don't give away the service, the product or service for the financial consulting firm. So let me give you an example. I had a client once who ran a small tax practice. And so, he wanted to run a giveaway and said, well, let me give away a free tax consultation. So Ted, what do you think the problem would be with giving away a free tax consultation as your prize?
Boy, that's a lot of work.
Oh, you mean for the business, giving that away?
Yeah, the time involved.
Okay, that is a lot of work. You're right. The other reason is it's just not that compelling. You've got to cut through the noise of the interwebs, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on online. There are status updates from friends. There are baby hedgehog videos, whatever is happening online that's out there. And it's very distracting. So you've got to come up with an incentive that's particularly compelling, Hosan. So what I would recommend is, Ted gave away some of his books. If you have something that's an item like that can be given away that aligns with your target customer, then great. It worked well for Ted. If not, decide on a prize that you can acquire and give away. So this guy, what we came down to is he was trying to reach upper middle class males in his geographic area, which was Scottsdale, Arizona, and he was trying to reach males who are over the age of 40. And so we discussed it and talked about it, and we decided one thing that group likely had in common was that many of them enjoyed golf. This is what he told me, right? This is all based on his input, his sort of demographics and psychographics for his target audience. So we aligned on a free round of golf at a local golf club. Now, there was a hard cost to that, but it wasn't too much. It was, It just was one round of golf, and that was what he gave away as the prize. Campaign did extremely well. So Hosan, I hope that's helpful. But yeah, a great thing to do is just make sure. Hosin, thank you, Hosin. So there you go. He corrected me. I got it a little late, Hosin. But so there you go, Hosin. Pick a prize that is more compelling. He says maybe an ebook. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe an ebook on a good topic. Maybe some books about financial planning. Even if the client hasn't written a book, could be helpful as well. Worked well for Ted, so we know that.
I've seen some good ads like for Fisher Investments. They give away a book like The Definitive Guide to Retirement Income. It's just an ebook.
There you go. Yeah, good content is extremely compelling. And so I think that's great, Ted. Like, you want to make sure that you give something away that's, here's the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Is like, you could pick something that's extremely compelling, like an iPad, right? And the problem with that is it's just too generic, right? It's just not targeted enough, because lots of people would love to get a free iPad, right? My 11-year-old son would love a free iPad, and he would be a horrible lead because he has no money. So you want to pick a prize that's both compelling and very relevant to your business. So the free book for you, obviously, the free book was huge. A nice piece of content can be really good. Or, like if you're in the business of, let's say you're a marketing consultant, why not, go buy $50, like a little gift card for Facebook ads, give away $50 or $100 in free Facebook ads, right? My 11-year-old son wouldn't care about Facebook ads, right? But someone who wants to run Facebook ads might be a good client for you. So find that prize that's going to be compelling, but also really relevant to your target customer, which is the key. So, all right, cool. So, do you see any other questions, Ted, coming through?
Kim had one about, does this work with Facebook ads? Yes. Kim, it does work.
Yeah, absolutely, Kim. In fact, what I normally do is take that smart URL. In fact, why don't I just do it, right? You guys watch my screen real quick, if you don't mind. I am going to copy the smart URL. I'm going to go to Facebook. So what you would do is, let's go to a little test page I have set up. What you would do is you'd go to your business page, and this could be any platform, right? I'm just using Facebook because Kim asked about Facebook. But if I go here and I paste in that smart URL, you can see it immediately sets up the post for me. So this is why I said it's compatible, quote unquote, compatible with all these social platforms. So here's my image. Here's my title, which I can change if I want to here. Here's the little text area I had, right? I can change that too. And then what I would normally do is I put in a little status update and say something like, enter to win in my amazing spring giveaway. Not the best copy I've ever written, but I'm trying to be quick. I'll publish this. Again, don't worry, Tyson, it's just a test page. And so boom. So there's my Facebook post, and this is organic, right? So if this were my business page, now everybody who's a fan of my page has the ability to see this in their feed. And by the way, I click this, it goes straight to the smart URL, right to my contest. Very, very simple. So what I would do normally is I would promote this post, Kim. That's probably the easiest way to just leverage Facebook ads for this. Okay. All right, cool. So guys, I've got maybe just a couple more minutes, and Ted and I'd be glad to just spend a couple more minutes with you guys if you have any other questions. And I'll just remind you one more time that the offer that's available today is available right here at heyo.com/TED. And it's for a full year of Heyo, all these great bonuses you see on the screen, plus the LinkedIn profile review from Ted, which is really cool. And I would love to get one myself. So there you go. There's the offer. Hope you guys take a moment to take advantage of it. It's only going to be available here for just a few more minutes. All right, cool. So Ted, while we give people a chance to kind of think about any other burning questions they might have you had any thoughts as we've kind of gone through this content? We've talked about how to figure out who's sending traffic to your competitors and get them to send traffic to your website instead. We've talked about a strategy that knock knock method for sending emails that actually get opened. And we've talked about running a social campaign, and most importantly, the importance of mobile and the fact that most leads are coming from mobile right now. Any thoughts or any other recommendations you'd have for folks just as they think about these strategies?
One of the biggest things I learned in the last year, I've been doing social media for a long time, and I'd always post things. And I saw Gary Vaynerchuk speak, and he was talking about his Twitter strategy, how he'll post the same tweet 5 or 6 times in a day because people don't always see it at the same time. So
right.
I hear people say, don't overpost and don't post the same things twice. I schedule things now that go off every month, and I'm getting traffic to the same content over and over. So you could schedule content and keep have contests running all the time, right? 7 days at a time, set up a new contest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rolling them over.
I'd say probably our most successful customers at Heyo are running this type of giveaway or contest or some similar campaign on a regular basis, right? Like we do have many customers that are literally running one all the time because it's just part of their business. But I would say we have many, many more that run a monthly giveaway or contest, or at the very least do them seasonally. So it's just a regular part of their marketing calendar. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the great thing about it is it's the kind of strategy that helps you, I think Dee asked the question about, well, how do you calculate ROI on one of these campaigns? The question I get all the time when I speak is about really the ROI of social media, right? People ask that question all the time. And it's kind of a tricky question, I know, but at the end of the day, this is a nice, simple way to calculate ROI, right? If you've got X number of LinkedIn connections or Facebook followers, and if you can get even a small number of them to opt in and give you an email address, that email address is worth something, right? It's a great asset that you've got for your business, and that now you've got permission to promote to them. So that's a great point. Eric asked the question, can I use it with my clients? I'm assuming you mean Heyo, and the answer is yes, Eric. There are no limits to how many pages you can publish to. You can absolutely use it to run campaigns for your clients as well.
So you can only run 3 contests at the same time, right?
3 at the same time, but they don't have to be for your business. That's right. Yeah. Cool. And by the way, folks, I'll throw this out there because I know you guys have had a lot of questions about Heyo. If you'd like me to give you a call, so if you've got more questions about this offer or about Heyo in general, and you'd like me to give you a call, I'd be glad to do it to answer your questions. Just in the GoToWebinar questions panel, shoot me your phone number. No one else will see it, and I'd be glad to give you a call this afternoon and answer whatever questions you've got. So, okay, cool. So Ted, I don't see any other questions right now. I think we're kind of winding things up. Any other final thoughts or words of wisdom, Ted, as we kind of wrap up the content?
No, I've been focusing on growing my email list more this year. I doubled it last year, and they say the money is in the list. It's so true. It's, you got to have a big email list.
That's it. Well said. Absolutely. I totally agree. It's really, however you do it, I'm going to echo Ted's words. The money is in the list. Make sure you do something, have a strategy to keep nurturing your email list and adding more leads to it. This is a great way to do it. Running this type of campaign doesn't have to be the only thing you do. So make sure you do that. So Ted, I really just want to, as we close here, take a moment and say thank you so much for hosting this webinar with me. I had a blast.
Oh, I did too. Thanks for sharing all this great information. Now I'm going to start another campaign as soon as we get off this call.
Yeah, you'd better, man. Now that you've realized how successful that last one was. So thanks so much, Nanabe. Look, you're a busy man. There's nothing wrong with that. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. I really hope this was valuable. I won't shut down the webinar, so if you've got questions, feel free to throw them out there, and I'll do my best to answer via messaging. But for now, so long, and thanks so much for joining. Ted, thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.